Okay, I'm going to start on a project for myself. I am going to do a can koozie. I'm actually going to be doing two. One for me and one for my guy, but his is not going to get glitter. So I'm going to spread a very thin coat of resin around this quick, and I'm going to use the epoxy method to apply the glitter. The epoxy method as in adhesive, not glitter mixed in with the resin. I should make that clear, because there are two different versions of the epoxy method. So I'm making us koozies to take up to our camp so they can just live there. So that was just a fairly thin coat. I'm going to strip my glove off so I don't get glitter on everything. I'm going to use Tiffany's from Elemento P Design Boutique for my base coat. I already have it out, and I'm using it over white this time, so we'll see what color it comes out over white. The last cup I did with it, I base coated with like a sea glass spray paint. So I think it's going to come out paler on this one, but it should still be pretty, I hope. Yeah, it's a totally different color over a white base than over the spray painted base, which is normal and expected. I had initially been planning on using a chameleon mica on mine and his, and then I base coated mine white, not thinking. So mine's getting glitter. And I'm going to get his started and just run them both in the same video rather than do two separate videos for the same set, I think. So I may end up coming back in and using a spray adhesive, or I may come back and do another epoxy coat. Depends on if I have epoxy mixed up at the time. But I'm probably going to give this a second coat because it is definitely, it looks sparklier on camera than it does in person. So I'm probably going to give this a second coat. Okay, so I sprayed this down with a coat of Elmer's Craft Bond spray adhesive to do my second coat of glitter, because I really wasn't happy with the coverage on the first layer. So I'm just gonna glitter it again and then let it dry a bit, and then get a coat of resin over it. And this is going to become a peekaboo, so it doesn't have to be super perfect. I glued my paper down to the parchment I'm working on top of, so I'm just going to cut that corner off. I've been using this Elmer's Craft Bond quite a bit. I'm actually pretty pleased with the outcome I've been getting with it, so it's just another alternative. I'm just going to dip the bottom in. Still missing one little spot. Alright, so that is much better. That's going to work for me. Again, this is just for my own personal use, so if it's not perfect, I'm okay with that. I'll be back for the next step. Okay, so this is going to be his cup. Hopefully I'm not making a mistake here in using the pigment I'm choosing to use. But I'm going to use the chameleon pigment from solarcolordust.com that claims to be bright blue, green, and gold shift. I applied a layer of Craft Bond, so this should be tacky. And this pigment came in this little baggie, so I poured some in a cup. And I'm going to apply it with a fluffy brush and hope that it's actually what it said it was. It's looking a little sparkly for a man's cup. But I definitely see some green and some gold. I'm not seeing a whole lot of blue. So I think I may gently just rub the rest of this. And I may switch gears real quick. So, because that's not getting nearly as much color as I want. I wanted blue without like a purple shift, and that's kind of difficult sometimes. But this is from the Magic Peacock series from Woody's Goodies. Woody's Goodies is currently closed on their website because the wildfires are unfortunately super close to them. So as of last night, early this morning, they were closed, but hopefully they will be back up and running soon. So I'm just gonna go right over the top of that with this pigment and see what I end up with. I feel like it's still pulling a purpley shift. And hopefully none of my cups down the line that are spinning are going to be picking up pigment, but typically when I work with these, that does happen. So we'll see. So I'm still not loving it. I'm gonna go ahead and grab one more. I'm gonna grab No More Mr. Nice Guy. I know this one does have a little bit of a purple shift, but it is predominantly blue. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little of that out on my parchment. And brush that over top. Because why not? Now it's got more of that blue I was looking for. It's got a little bit of everything. And I'm going to go ahead and burnish that a little bit by hand at this point. This is going to get a peekaboo treatment anyways, so a lot of this isn't going to show in the end. So I'm not terribly concerned. Alright. So, I think that is good. I'm going to get a layer of resin on this in a couple minutes here, as soon as I free up a turner. And then we will move on to the next step, which will be the peekaboo after that dries. Okay, I am ready to get the resin on this one. Just going to give it a good coat. That way it only needs one before it's ready for the decals for the peekaboo. And it is looking kind of navy, not too purpley undertones, so I'm good with that. I can see the green and the gold from that very first layer, but again, perfectly fine with that. So, just gonna get a good coat on here and then swap these cups out and do the next one. I have to keep working on this turner because the way my turners are set up right now, I can't swap this one because it's plugged in on the other side. Normally I just switch them back and forth as I use them, but this one's kind of trapped in place, so I have to quick swap them out and then I can go on to the next one. Okay, I may have a little bit of his mica on this glove. I'm not real worried about it. This is going to get a little bit of a thicker layer. Some of this glitter might float. Again, not overly concerned. It'll all settle back out in the end. And this is going to get a much heavier coat than the powder one got. Even if the glitter floats in your resin like that, it typically smooths itself back out, so I'm not going to really be terribly concerned. And again, so much of this is getting covered that it really doesn't matter. And it's for me, and I'm kind of trying to do them in a bit of a rush, in and around orders and things. So, but I'd really like them ready to take to camp with us this weekend. So, hopefully before you even see this, they'll be at camp. So that'll smooth itself back out some as it turns, and yeah, it'll probably get one more flood coat before it gets its decals. I'm just going to give this one a little bit of heat just so it can move a little bit more. But well, that's it for this step. Okay, so I never got my koozies done last week, so here we are again in a new week. I am not going to do all of this on camera. I'm just not. It's going to be way too hard for me to work at the angle I'm going to have to work at for these. But let me grab both cups. These are both going to be, like I said, these are for us for camp. So, but they're both going to get some tire tracks on the side with the word Jeep above them. And I'm going to shoot for tire tracks on both sides and maybe some on the bottom. And then they're going to get our names on them. And then they're going to get spray painted twice. First with black, then with white. And then I'm going to peel the Peekaboo. And let me tell you, these tracks have 1,000,002 pieces. It is going to take me a very long time to remove them all. But I'm going to do it. So I'm going to start by trying to get a set of tire tracks on each of them. I stupidly, instead of going with like a really basic track, I went out and took a picture of my Jeep's tires and was like, oh, yeah, I'll go with the closest tread pattern to what's on mine. So, yeah. Nothing like making it super complicated for myself. And because this cup has a curve, it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the you-know-what. So I'm just going to curve those little bits around the end and try and fill in. And I actually do want that piece up there. It's okay if they stick off the top because they're coming back off anyways. So, yeah, this is going to be a what was I thinking project. And it's now like almost the weekend again, so cool. And I am honestly not sure that I can convince myself that I want tire tread on the other side. Because I don't really have time to peel hundreds and hundreds of pieces off. But I'm going to grab a chunk for the bottom at least. Maybe. I'm kind of like off center on the bottom. So I actually don't think I want to do the bottom. I don't know. I'm so torn. I mean, yeah, it would look cool, but this is for us. It's not gotta be super fancy. So let me just do a little bit. And actually, his name's really long compared to mine, so I don't dare do that first before I put the name on. You know what? I'm going to be mad at myself if I don't do the tire tracks. Right? Right. So, I'm just going to suck it up, Buttercup, and do it. So, I'm going to grab another set. And I'm not going to show you me decaling mine, because I'm going to try and get it to somewhat match. So, I'm going to get these on his, and then pop out. I went and got a squeegee. And I know these are not going to be at the same angle. It's fine. Personal cups. So, I don't even know if that was in frame. I'm so laser focused on trying to line anything up that I didn't even look. And I'm just going like across the middle between the two sections of track. Whoops. And I'm just going to fill in a little bit. I need to get one more edge piece there. I've got a couple over here, so I'm good. Alright, so that is as decorated as this one's going to get. Is it completely symmetrical? Nope. But am I going to try and get mine somewhat similar? Yep. Perfectly imperfect. And I will be back when they're both spray painted black, then spray painted white. I'll come back and show you the removal process and take it from there. Okay, so this is still sticky. I might have some regrets. I just hold it in my hand. It is extremely humid today, but I just want to show you how you come back in and weed everything out carefully. My pin pens are both dull, and I ordered this week and didn't even think about it when I was looking for other stuff to put in my cart. So that's my own fault. But this is going to be a long and tedious process, and I'm actually going to let this dry a little bit more before I go any further, but I just wanted to show you. And I'm not going to worry about this where that just stuck to the paper, because we're going to be removing some of this anyways, so it'll be fine. I'm at an awkward angle, and I think this pen is duller than the other one, so that's going to make this process 99 times worse. I'm going to have to find one of my other less desirable weeding tools to do this. But I'm going to sit here and pick off every single one of those, and then we are going to come in with some acetone and a rag and like distress here and there and bring some of that black paint up. That's why I don't really care about that. So I'm going to let it dry. I'm going to get these completely weeded, and I will eventually be back. Okay, so these are weeded now. Wow, just wow. Very, very difficult. Never again. Never again will I do such an intricate peekaboo weed. But anyways, so, and they're still sticky, tacky, I don't know, humidity. But anyways, I have a little cup of acetone here, and I have some pieces of cut up t-shirt, and I'm just going to start rubbing the paint away in spots. Doing that grunged up effect. I picked this spot on this one to start because I had a mosquito there. Because, you know, why not? So, I'm just going to pick a couple of random spots and rub the paint off. And you're going to need several pieces of t-shirt if that's what you use, because you have to keep switching to a cleaner spot. You can also clean up like a finer edge with a Q-tip or whatever works for you. I'm going to do a large spot in between the two. In between the two sets of tracks. That one's shot. And I'm like just going to the black here around that. It's more of that turquoise, aqua, whatever showing through there. So, come over here and do a little spots. I'm going to bring that spot down over the edge a little. And I'm going to come back in with some alcohol and just clean a little bit back over that spot. It'll just clean up a little bit of that excess paint, but it won't really remove any more, because some of that's where that paint just kind of bled the black. So the alcohol will still remove paint if you're not careful, but all right, so I think I'm good with this one. That's it. That's mine. I want to clean up over this glitter a little bit, bring back the shine. And I'm basically going to do the same thing on the other one. I'm going to use that spot where I left too much for a big, big spot like that. So, whoops, I just spilled acetone all over my table. No torch for a bit for me. But I'm not going to show you this entire one. This one's going to be a little more difficult to see as the color comes through the bottom because it's that darker color. So it is going to come through though. At least somewhat. And again, I'll come back in and clean it up a bit. So, now his name is so much longer, I can't really do a spot next to the name. So I'm going to do them like in the in-between areas again. I'm going to go a tiny bit over the edge again. And again. Now, as much as I would love to wear gloves to do this, the acetone just eats right through the gloves. So it really doesn't matter if you wear them or not. I just need another fresh piece of t-shirt to do some alcohol wiping on this one. I'm okay with grunging his up a little bit more also, keeping it a little more masculine. I know, I'm working off frame. I wish somebody was here to yell at me like I was live. So, I'm going to clean up these two spots, and then I'm going to let them sit and dry a little tiny bit, and I will be back to get the resin on them, because I think I am pretty much as far as I am going to go with this process. So, I'll be back in a little bit with some resin. I'll try and get them in the same direction. So, similar but different. Again, they're just for us. They're to go in our camper, so we have koozies there. So, alright, I'll be back. Okay, I am ready to get resin on these. Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to scooch mine out of the way a minute. I'm going to give these a pretty good coat, because these are likely to only get one coat right now. So, I mean, they're just koozies, they're not cups. So, a piece of t-shirt lint on there. Make sure the top's good. There's a little unweighted piece on there, but alright, so that one's coated. Let that spin a minute. Come in and do the other one. I hear this customer's terrible to work with, real picky. Sorry if you can hear the pager in the background. I forgot that I am home alone and have my door open. So, I'll kick that closed, actually. I was doing the weeding and stuff with the door open, and the county's been a little busy today. Almost forgot to do the bottom. So, ignore my little scratches and stuff. I don't care. It's for me. I never make myself anything, so. And I somehow got a little bit of blue inker marker on here. I don't know how. So, I'm going to, whoops, I'm going to spill my resin. I'm going to spin these around and take you guys down for a close-up. Pardon my hand, I always do that. Look at the shift in all of that mica I used. Holy crap. Crazy. And I'm going to torch these quick, so I know there's bubbles on it. That little bit of ink or whatever does bug me, but I got my bottom so crooked, you know. She's really off-roading this one. But one turner spins faster than the other, clearly, because they're in sync now. So, these are done. They're mine, and they can actually go on vacation with us. Yay! Alright, I'll see you in the next one.